being involved, it gives me a saying, and it gives other people a saying, and it'll show my son, like, look at my dad.
Jonathan's goal is to become a civil rights attorney, and we wish him continued success. That's about it from the wall. Back to the desk. Ronnie and
thank you so much, Alex. Here in San Diego, it looks like Brian Bilbray's 12 years in office has come to an end. Golden Hall was full of supporters for both parties. The Democratic candidate Scott Peters defeated Republican Brian Bilbray in one of the closest decisions of the night. Peters taking the votes by a mere 0.4%. Bilbray said that no matter the outcome, the winner has his hands full in Congress.
Bob Filner claimed a historic victory over Carl DeMaio in the mayoral race. This makes him San Diego's first Democratic mayor in 20 years. Following his win, he held a news conference on Wednesday where he said he will keep his promises to voters. Polls showed a tight race between the two. However, Filner came out on top with almost 10,000 more votes. Over 400,000 provisional ballots remain to be counted. DeMaio says it is unlikely for him to gain a lead, but is optimistic that Filner will lead the city government on the right path.
With 11 propositions and yet another very high-stakes presidential election, San Diego voters went to the polls in breaking numbers. Justin Watson has the story.
I'm here at the San Diego County Registrar of Voters Office in Kearny Mesa, where Election Day turnout seemed to cause a bit of traffic. As you can see, cars lined up to cast their votes either by going inside or by dropping it off.
The presidential general election typically has a higher turnout among registered voters. However, the San Diego County Registrar's Office didn't anticipate this election to be the highest ever in San Diego history. 6,300 volunteer poll workers, 850,000 mail ballots, and over 1,500 precincts made this election one of the busiest ever. San Diego County Registrar of Voters, Deborah Seiler, commented on the record-breaking turnout.
The registration process went pretty well. You know, we implemented this online voter registration system for the first time, and there were some, I think it went well for the voters. I think there were some technical things that we need to work through with the Secretary of State and the way that whole thing was designed. So that took us a little extra time to get some of those registrations onto the rolls, but we did it, and we did it in time to produce the roster pages. So I guess all's well that ends well.
There was also an increase in Democratic registration. According to the Registrar's Office, there were about 30,000 more registered Democratic voters than Republicans, and a few excited voters as well.
Oh, it was wonderful. I'm so happy that I got to come and vote. You heard me screaming when I came out because we're going to win.
Although only one candidate can win, exercising your right to vote is a win-win situation. With photojournalist Adon Perez, I'm Justin Watson, Newscene.
The San Diego County Registrar of Voters reported that as of today, there are approximately 375,000 mail ballots still to be counted.
This election saw many positive changes for Democrats, but it was an especially momentous night for women. Our Jim Smith has the story.
This was an extraordinary campaign for so many reasons. The results are astounding.
This is a part of the victory speech of newly re-elected Senator Claire McCaskill after she legitimately defeated controversial Republican Todd Akin.
Not what I expected. I always said, don't trust those polls, and that's been true.
Her words capsulized the night as 5 new women were elected to the United States Senate. There's Deb Fisher, a Republican from Nebraska, the wildly popular Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota, a surprise from a state that was 60% for Romney.
Think about that, how powerful it is what you did, because that is a democracy. That is a democracy.
Mazie Hirono of Hawaii became the first Asian American woman elected to the Senate, and Tammy Baldwin was the first woman elected to a Senate seat in Wisconsin, and
I am well aware that I will be the first openly gay member.
These ladies are the first women elected to full terms of Senate in their respective states. In addition, New Hampshire elected 2 more women to Congress with Carol Shea Porter and Annie Kuster as U.S. representatives. They joined newly elected Governor Maggie Hassan along with Senators Jean Shaheen and Kelly Ayotte as the only state with an all-female delegation as the primary political power. And let us not forget Tammy Duckworth, the first female disabled veteran elected to the House of Representatives. This has been a big boost in the profile of women in politics. Reporting for Newscene, I'm James Smith.
Although Texas elected deceased Senator Mario Gallegos, It is reported that he supported Houston City Councilwoman Carol Alvarado as his successor.
Election day was an important time for all politicians in the running, but it was also a big day for those who went out and participated in the decision-making for their very first time. Newscene's Jennifer Hewitt has the story.
Woohoo! I voted.
Excitement filled the air as voters dropped off their ballots for the election. Some people were maybe a little more enthusiastic than others, but not without reason.
In polling locations all over the county, such as the one here at City College, some students went in and placed their vote for the very first time.
With numerous props and candidates filling up the ballot, some were nervous about the choices they'd be making and looked to outside sources for guidance.
We've had a lot of people come in today who said, I'm a first-time voter, what do I do? And we just worked them through it.
Thankfully, there was information about the props as you go along in the ballot, so as I read them, I felt confident.
I've been getting invoice from teachers, parents, family members, just stuff like that.
After finishing, many new voters wanted a little something to commemorate their big day.
They were up and they wanted their sticker to prove they'd voted. So that was nice.
But that tiny sticker is more than just a label. It's a postmark of what they feel is one of the most important American rights.
I was happy I did it. I felt like I was doing my duty as a citizen, and my opinion, my voice was heard.
It's been a real cool experience, being able to represent as myself, as an individual for the country and for the state of California. And it's just been awesome, just having your name out there.
Reporting for Newscene, I'm Jennifer Hewitt.
It has been calculated in the polls that new voters supported President Obama over Mitt Romney by a 2-to-1 margin. This year, 2 in 10 new voters also said that jobs were a first priority, compared to 1 in 10 in the last election.
Latinos are the biggest minority of the country, and on Election Day, their votes were decisive to elect our president and other political figures. Newscene's Astrid Mendez-Medina shares with us the importance of the Latino vote.
26 million Latinos out of 50.5 million were eligible to vote during this presidential election. Some of them cast their vote for the first time.
It was great. Everything went perfect. There was no line, and I just voted for my president.
Others were not very informed.
When it came to the props, I didn't really know what to vote yes or no. But people were telling me, oh, vote yes for 30 and no on 38, so I just did that.
But all of them wanted to be part of it. In the end, 71% gave their trust to Barack Obama.
I'm happy with the results because Obama won presidency.
They know his re-election was possible thanks to them.
The Latino vote is very important because that way we're sending a message to the president that we are aware of what's happening, and then it's important that we vote.
After the elections, the Latino community understood that their voice was heard, but now they want to see if those votes become a reality.
But maybe this time Obama not forget, because the first time he forgot many things.
That's why I wanted to vote, because since I'm Hispanic, I am 18, I can vote, and I can vote for Latinos to stay here and have a future and stay in school.
For years, they were called the sleeping giant, but now they're more awake than ever. Reporting for Newscene, I'm Astrid Mendez-Medina.
According to the San Diego County Registrar, there are 41,000 more Hispanics registered in this election than compared in 2008.
This year, Californians voted on a number of ballot propositions, including some that affected education right here at City College.
Aaliyah Bora joins us with the breakdown of the results. Aaliyah?
Thanks, Dallas and Ronnie. There certainly were propositions that affected us here. Proposition 30 and 38 both concerned taxes and public school funding, but only one could win. With the state of the economy, it was uncertain if either would pass. Newscene reporter Helen Hawes and photojournalist Johnny Nguyen have the story.
Golden Hall is packed tonight. In addition to candidates, campaigners, and concerned citizens, high school students are here too. With California ranked 47th in the nation for per-pupil spending, funding for their schooling is at stake. There are 2 propositions on the ballot regarding education, 30 and 38. Proposition 30 is the governor's tax initiative to keep $6 billion in education for students K through community college. It would do this by imposing a temporary tax increase on citizens who make over $250,000 a year, plus a quarter-cent temporary sales tax. Proposition 38 is Attorney Molly Munger's initiative to tax almost all Californians temporarily on a sliding scale to raise $10 billion for grades K through 12. Richard Barrera is a board member of the San Diego Unified School District.
You know, we've got a group of high school students that have themselves organized other high school students at different campuses.
These students are here to study government live and in person.
We are here as a senior class of Gompers Preparatory Academy to get a first-hand look of the election process and what will be coming within 4 more years.
Mainly just to get a better insight of knowledge in politics and democracy, just to see who's going to be running our future.
With proper funding, Barrera envisions a bright future for all San Diego students.
It's a lot of excitement because I know we can do great things going forward.
Helen Hawes, Newscene.
Proposition 38 lost with 72% of voters against it. However, Proposition 30 won with approximately 54% of the vote and will go into effect in January. On the other hand, Proposition 32 was considered one of the more confusing ballots on the ballot. Johnny Nguyen explains why.